Good morning, students. I hope you're doing well. I'm sending you this recording because I will not be able to be there with you. But I'm still there with you in a way through this video. So I hope you're doing well and you woke up on the right side of the bed. Uh, None of you skipped bathing today because it's really cold. Everyone took a bath, you brushed your teeth, and now you're in school. Um, so, we have been in the past few days reading about the media. We've had so many interesting discussions about the media, so many interesting questions that you have asked. Let us quickly try to recap what all we have learned. So, for 30 seconds, try to remember all that you have learned so far. 30 seconds start now. All right, your time is up. So, what are some things that you can remember ever since we began this chapter? Okay, let me tell you a few things that I remember we have learned. We began with trying to understand how the media influences us, right? Everyone in this class has watched the TV, and so the media has influenced you to an extent, right? We've all watched Doraemon, Shinjan, we've watched TV news, we've watched documentaries, right? So media has been there in our lives and it has an influence on us, right? We try to imagine a student who was never exposed to the media and what his life would look like if there was no media in his life, and the only news he got was from his parents or from his friends, right? And then we tried to understand what media is, right? So what is media? There is this person called Media, and when we call Media, we say media, right? No? Okay, so media is plural for medium, and anything that helps us convey information is media, right? It acts as a medium for us. So, my medium of talking to you right now is English. Because I know English and you know English, we're able to communicate with each other. And the next thing we learned was how media influences public opinion, right? How media influences public opinion. And you told me what public opinion actually is, right? So we have read this in detail. Now we know what public opinion is and what it is not. And then I had asked you a question. Does the media affect public opinion or the opinion that we all have? Or is it public opinion that influences the media, right? And so you had told me that both of them influence each other, right? Both of them um, can change each other in the way that the media thinks, the way that the way that the media behaves. And the way the media behaves can change the way that we think and the way that we behave. And then we had moved on to forms of media, right? We saw that there's broadly two types of media. One is print media. The second one is electronic media, right? If this book were updated, it would show us that social media is the most powerful form of media these days. So it would come under electronic media, right? Social media, your Twitter, your Instagram, right? A lot of people, instead of reading the news, they go to Twitter and they look at their Twitter feed, and people are arguing about various issues. So this is what we have learned so far. Is there anything that you have learned? There's one more thing that we learned, and that was how the media can be used as a tool to spread or disseminate information and awareness, right? So newspaper can reach a few people, TV can reach almost any part of the world. Everybody's watching FIFA World Cup through television. And then we have documentary films which document what is happening in reality and help us to understand. They are educational in nature, right? They are factual and not fictional. So this is what we've learned so far. If there's anything I've missed out, pardon me. I will just move on for now. All right. So let's move to our next topic, which is media and democracy. Right. So media, we know, is known as the fourth pillar of democracy, not officially, but unofficially. The first three are legislature, judiciary, and executive, right? So these are the three pillars that hold the building of democracy. If you pull out one pillar, the whole building will fall or collapse. So here we are, and these three are interdependent and independent in some sense. So we have media as the fourth pillar. Now the media is very powerful and important, as we all know by now. But public opinion acts as a link between people and the government, right? So that's the first point. What's the first point? Public opinion in a democracy acts as a link between the people and the government. Okay. So let's say you voted for Kejriwal ji or Manohar Lal Khattar ji, right? And they're now in power. So from 2019 to 2024, they're ruling, and you've sent them there, right? You went out and voted for them. But what happens in these 5 years? Once they take your votes, they're out there and they're like, bye bye, see you after 5 years. We'll come back to ask for a vote, right? That's what happens, but it should not happen because we have the media that keeps them accountable, right? So we voice our public opinion through the media, and our leaders are accountable to us. So that is why we have press conferences. That is why there are people with microphones in front of the members of parliament and the MLAs. And they keep asking questions. Why? Because you've put them there and they are accountable to us. Right? So the public opinion helps them understand what we want, and we keep track of whether they're doing what they had promised by asking them questions and by seeing whether the promises they made in the manifesto are fulfilled. Right? So how does that happen? If you look into your book, current affairs programs, interviews with political leaders and policymakers, social activists, subject matter experts, and people who make news help in providing information and creating opinion among the people. Right. So you have political experts who come on TV debates and interviews, and they talk about how different people are doing. Right. Recently, I watched an NDTV interview of Arvind Kejriwal, and he was talking about various things about corruption, about how his government is doing, about Satyendra Jain, how he's still in jail, but allegations have not been proved. Right. So if your leaders uh, are being interviewed, then we know that we are somehow connected to them because the media is asking the questions that we would like to ask of them, right? And so this is how the media acts in a democracy, right? So in a country where the media is not doing its job, the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary will play a football game, and they'll be passing the ball to each other. They will have nothing to do with us, the public. They'll keep playing their game. And at the end of 5 years, they'll come back and say, hey, listen, we want your votes. And we'll be like, I need a smartphone, a laptop. Like, okay, take a laptop, but give me your vote, right? So if that happens, it's not a democracy. It is not demo people, Cressy rule by the people. They are ruling us, and we are, then they're ruling us and they're fooling us at the same time. So in order to avoid that, we have the media and we have responsibility. Let's move to the second point. The media ensures that the representatives of the people are answerable to the people. In the recent past, we have observed how instances of corruption and callousness of the members of the government have been highlighted by the media. The media thus acts as a watchdog of the democratic government. So you have seen so many times that leaders are questioned. Some people, you know, uh, start crying in front in TV interviews, like, sorry, I shouldn't have done that. Please forgive me, right? So the sometimes they make comments that are unwise, and then they have to apologize for it. So let me show you a video, a short clip that is an example. Okay, so here we are. Um, we saw Bill Clinton, the president of the United States at that time. He apologized for his mistakes. So think about the people um, in the corridors of power, like in the highest places, apologizing to the public. Why? Because they are accountable to us, right? So the media uh, or the public through the media asks questions, and they have to answer our questions because they are answerable to us, right? So we got to know about the media and how democracy is upheld through the media, right? So if the media was not there, or if the media was corrupt, which it probably is, um, then we would be in trouble, right? So in the previous classes, we had found out that India ranks 150 out of 180 in the Global Press Freedom Index. Is it the Global Press Freedom Index or the World Press Freedom Index, right? I think it's the World Press Freedom Index, right? So Indian media is not free to say anything. So sometimes the media is called a caged bird, right? It does not have the freedom to speak the truth all the time. Caged bird. And so we have India here. We have Pakistan somewhere in the 150s again. And we have North Korea here, right? And I think we had Norway or some other Scandinavian country ranked number one. So the truth and the fact of the matter, ladies and gentlemen, is that the media in India is corrupt, right? So recently you might have heard that NDTV, which is known for its reliability in the country, was bought by the second richest man in the world, Gautam Adani, right? So now NDTV belongs to Gautam Adani. Now, do you think that if Gautam Adani does anything wrong, NDTV is going to go ahead and highlight that? Uh, Very unlikely, right? Why? Because he controls the channel, right? So if the media is controlled by people who have power and influence, be it somebody in the government or a party, let's say the BJP or the Congress or the Aam Aadmi Party controls uh, a large, uh, a major part of the media, right? Then we can't really say whether what is being told to us is the truth, right? And so the last time we had discussed how the media is supposed to be a mirror, but it's a broken mirror, right? It's a broken mirror, and it's showing us a distorted image. We are not able to see the truth. So the next topic that we are going to look at is the code of conduct that the media needs to follow, right? The ethics and the accountability. But before that, I want to show you a video that talks about the Indian media. How do I play this? Oh, here we have the video. I hope you're able to listen to the audio, to hear the audio. All right. So I'm sure you got some, you got to know the reality of the Indian media after watching this. Yeah, it's sad, but this is the reason why India is ranked 150, right? 150 out of 180 countries. So here we have another news article. Recently, News 18 India was fined rupees 50,000 by a self-regulatory body, which is called NBDSA, for expressing extreme views, right? So there was a debate on hijab and they crossed the line. The media is not supposed to share their opinion. They're only supposed to report the facts and let us decide what is right and wrong, right? Their job is not to tell us this is right, this should be done, this should not be done, right? So let me read this out for you. The self-regulatory body for news broadcasters recently fined News 18 India rupees 50,000 for the way in which a discussion on the hijab ban in Karnataka was conducted, saying the channel gave panelists a platform to express extreme views which could adversely affect communal harmony. So if these news channels do Hindu Muslim all day, people are provoked to fight against each other, right? Hindus start thinking, oh, Muslims aren't good people, and Muslims start thinking that Hindus aren't good people. The News Broadcasting and Digital Standards Authority, NBDSA, which is the self-regulatory body for all members in the News Broadcasters and Digital Association, issued the order on 21st October based on a complaint filed by an. So this is just 1 month back. It happened just a month back. The program against which the complaint was filed was a debate conducted by News 18 India, aired on April 6, 2022, on the controversy that emerged in Karnataka following a ban imposed by the government on wearing hijab in educational institutions. Then, Al-Qaeda leader Ayman al-Zawahiri had praised a Muslim girl who had responded to a group of boys heckling her with Allahu Akbar. During the broadcast, the anchor Amman Chopra referred to the Muslim students as hijabi gang, hijab wali Gazwa gang, and made a false allegation that they had resorted to rioting, the complaint said. He also claimed that Zawahiri and terrorist organizations were behind the hijab row in India. One panelist, one of the panelists accused another panelist of being a supporter of terrorist groups, the complaint said. The NBDSA said that the channel was free to choose the topic of discussion as it comes within the freedom of expression of the broadcaster, but said that it is primarily concerned with the fact as to whether the broadcaster and anchor adhered to the code of ethics and broadcasting standards during the show. So the code of ethics is what we are going to read later on in this chapter. And so clearly you can see here that News 18 was not, News 18 India was not adhering to the code of ethics and broadcasting standards. Right? So if you're not sure about something and you say, oh, you are from this gang, you did this or you did that, then you can land in trouble. And in fact, if you see something like that on the media, you can file a complaint, and then in the court of law, they can be punished for it, right? So now that I've shared so many things with you, I want you to read Media Ethics and Accountability and spend the next 5 minutes reading it for 2 minutes and then discussing about it with your group members for the next 3 minutes after that. So that's all from my side. All the best. And in the next chapter, sorry, in the next class, we'll meet and try to sum up this chapter. Thank you and have a great day ahead. This is David signing off.